There's a hush tonight across the sound stages, like the lights themselves are holding their breath. The hum of equipment has paused, the script stands silent, the audience, real and imagined, leans forward waiting. Because tonight, we witness something that is as ordinary, as breathing yet radical in its honesty. A star steps forward, steps outward, declares that the shape they were cast in is not the shape they have always worn inside. The young face, familiar from young Sheldon, that once occupied the screen with the neat precision of he or she, shimmering behind the certainties of years of pronouns and protocols, no longer wants the neat box. Not because it's wrong, but because it feels wrong, because it never felt fully right. I am non-binary, they say, their voice slight tremble that carries the weight of futures, the risk, the relief. And in that moment, something shifts. The stage stops being just stage. The screen stops being just screen. The lights stop being just lights. They become witness. There are stories we tell ourselves about stars, that they are different, invincible, wrapped in glitter and distance. But identity is not glitter. It is the quiet silver pulse beneath the skin, the pattern of breath and thought. It is what wakes you up in the middle of the night, what pushes back when someone misgenders you, what you wear when no one is watching. It is also what blooms incandescent under the spotlight. For someone who grew up on screens, whose childhood was laid out in episodic arcs and laugh tracks, the journey to this moment has been both public and private. From early days playing Sheldon's sibling, from interviews sharpening pronouns and expectations, the world saw an image, a role. With admiration, with awards, with young fans forming the image of what someone like that must be. But inside, there were shifting shadows, pronouns that fell flat, expectations that felt tight, roles that felt borrowed. A private wilderness of not exactly this, not exactly that. And now they stand, beyond those roles, handing back the borrowed costumes. The costumes, I am a boy, I am a girl, these skirt the edges of who I am, but do not contain me. In saying, I am non-binary, they choose their own fabric, neither holy girl nor holy boy, sometimes both, sometimes other, sometimes none. The fabric that feels sturdier, truthful, whole. Visibility matters. It matters because in the moment someone you admire speaks their truth, you hear the echo in your own chest. For young people who have felt themselves misshapen by statutes of sex and gender, by pronouns that never settled, by categories that never fitted, this is not just one more celebrity announcement. It is a permission slip, a map, a kind of gentle roaring that says, you don't have to squeeze into what society hands you. You can draw your own lines. There will be headlines. There will be commentators, some supportive, some strident, some confused. The shock will pulse through water cooler conversations and Twitter threads. But the deeper ripple is quiet. It flows into bedrooms, into mirrors, into hearts. It murmurs, I might be okay. I might be real. Of course, this moment is neither the beginning nor the end. It's both a point on a long road and a compass marking new directions. Because even after one comes out, after the breath of truth is exhaled, the work of living becomes practice. Practice in language, new pronouns, new recognition. Practice in patience, with others who fumble, who stutter over the new you, who still see what they expect rather than what you are. Practice in courage, in public appearances, interviews, tweets, photo shoots. Every moment where someone says she/her, and you must decide, do I correct them, or do I let it be? Every time someone endows you with he/him, without thinking. It is a negotiation, a boundary setting, a boundary redefining. And then there is the internal work, accepting that other people's discomfort is not your failure. That visibility might mean scrutiny. That being non-binary might be misunderstood, might be erased, might be argued over. That some will say, but you look like a girl, or you talk like a boy, or you're too tall, too soft, too whatever. All of which assumes there is one way to be non-binary, or one way to look legitimate. Which is a myth, a cage. Still, there is joy in the shedding of old skins and the embrace of new ones. In moments when the correct pronouns are used naturally in public and people nod, and everything feels just right. When the reflection in the mirror lines up with the reflection inside. When relationship dynamics shift, when friends and family pivot, stumble, ask questions, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes beautifully, but are trying. When the audience, fans, followers, offers congratulations, messages of love. When someone writes, "Thank you, your story helped me." That's maybe the brightest light of all. And then there is art. Because this moment, this announcement, is also a kind of performance of authenticity. It changes how roles are perceived, what stories can be told, who feels seen in stories. Representation ripples outward. Casting directors might start seeing non-binary actors for roles that once had to be strictly male or female. Writers begin imagining characters who don't fit binaries. Viewers begin asking for stories that reflect their own nuanced interiors. For this star, this may also mean choosing roles differently. Perhaps refusing roles that enforce gender in ways they find oppressive. Perhaps seeking out scripts that celebrate fluidity. Perhaps crafting their own stories, writing, producing, voicing voices that so far have been hushed. There will also be backlash. That is often the price of visibility in these cultural moments. Stereotypes, doubts, deliberate misgendering, trolls digging in. But there is strength in community. There is solidarity. Non-binary elders whose shoulders you stand on. Queer young people finding solace in the same truth. Allies learning, unlearning. The idea that one can be whole without being defined by someone else's categories is itself revolutionary. In the days ahead, headlines will settle, conversations will evolve. Eventually, the shining novelty may fade. The truth becomes just another fact. They are non-binary and creative, and the star of young Sheldon, and someone who deserves respect. But the echo remains. Because real change comes not merely from announcing, but from being seen in that announcement. From permission given and taken. From reflection and recognition. From language shifting, worldview shifting. In this deciding moment, a star has come out. And the world, louder or quieter, watches. Those who felt unseen now have a light to follow. Those who presumed sameness may wonder. Those who love them will adjust. And all those whose identity is still forming, still resisting, still exploring. This is for you. So here's to speaking truth in the dark. Here's to that trembling voice being enough. Here's to the space made by saying, "I am non-binary." And here's to all the journeys that begin when someone whispers aloud the name that was inside them all along. Because identity is not something you find in the light. It is something you grow, root in the darkness. And this star, shining in that darkness, now lights countless paths. If you like, I can adapt this into a news feature style article or a fictionalized short story version, or even lyrics or poetry. Do you prefer any of those?